Hello, I'm Nicole Danielle.
And I'm Megan Lee. And this is Romance on the Rocks, where two bookish biddies imbibe and talk about romance novels. Oh boy, are we in for a ride this week, you guys.
Yep, it's all part of Creature Feature Month. We're hitting up 4 creature feature-esque Halloween-y books for the month of October. And this is Halloween-y, pun intended. And this is round number 2. And before we dive into our very interessante books, Megan, what are you drinking this evening?
That's an excellent question, Nicole. Okay, folks. So let's start with the fact that the book that I read for this particular episode was called Sasquatch Love Spell. And so I actually found this bottle of Butterscotch whiskey by Revelstoke, and it's called Buttersquatch. And it has got a Sasquatch on the label.
Fabulous. That's fabulous.
Well, we'll see. Shall we open it and find out?
Wait, are you just going to drink that straight?
Well, it smells sweet, kind of like a screwball.
Okay.
So I feel like it probably should be consumed straight. It smells boozy and sweet. It smells like gut rot.
What a treat.
Right? So yeah, I have got Revelstoke Butterscotch whiskey. Let's take a taste. Could be worse. It tastes like butterscotch.
Okay.
That's actually not bad. I'm going to wait till that ice actually chills it a little bit, and it probably will be fairly good, actually.
So does it taste like one of those old grandma Werther candies?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah. It is a boozy Werther's. I'm not mad about it.
Okay.
What do you got?
I am drinking a Werewolf's Call, which is a concoction of whiskey and apple cider and triple sec and OJ.
I was with you until the OJ.
I know. That's the part that was throwing me for a loop, too.
How's she taste?
I think there's so little OJ in there that it's not bad.
Oh, okay. So maybe more like having a Grand Marnier or something just for flavor?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Because it was 2 ounces of whiskey, 2 ounces of apple cider, 1 ounce of triple sec, and just a half ounce of OJ. So it's not, I think it's just infusing a little bit.
More for flavor. Okay.
I don't know that I would drink it again, but I'm drinking it now.
Well, I got a whole bottle of Buttersquatch. So
okay.
We're going to utilize that in some things. It seems like it'd be good with ice cream.
Oh, yeah, I could see that. And just as a reminder for our listeners, we noticed when we were teasing these books on the last episode that we both have guys with red flannel shirts.
Beefy dudes with beards, too, I think it is.
Yeah. We think they may be one and the same dude, but we're about to find out.
Well, I will say on the cover of mine, this guy's axe is so stupidly small compared to his body.
It is.
But they actually, on page 4, talk about the fact that he dwarfs the axe he's holding. So it is the one thing I will say that the AI cover art actually got correct.
Okay.
Surprisingly. Anyway, I go first.
Yes, you go first this time.
Woof. All right, guys. Let me pull up my show notes because I don't want to miss anything. All right. My book, again, is called Sasquatch Love Spell. It's by A.C. Rutten, and it was published not just in 2025, but in June of 2025. So this is very recent.
Oh, it's fresh.
This is probably the freshest book I've had. Yeah. All right. The premise. Aoife is a half-human, half-banshee, which she mentions at least a dozen times in the 97 pages of this book. Aoife's mom is the high priestess of the Tuatha people, and she has ordered that Aoife get married to the elven prince, who, by the sound of it, lives in some sort of magical underworld, and he really only wants to marry Aoife to use her deadly banshee powers and have banshee-powered babies. He wants her to be a weapon or something. When we meet Aoife, she is already on the run from that unwanted marriage. Apparently, the land of magic she lives in is somehow hidden on the outskirts of Toronto, So in some sort of combination of riding the train and having a smoke/evaporation teleportation, she gets herself into a deeper wooded area outside of Toronto. By page 4 of this book, Aoife has already laid eyes on our leading man, a Sasquatch. Well, half Sasquatch, half human. The halvesies are really carrying a big load in this particular book. In this Magic Kingdom, the regime in power has made it illegal for Sasquatches to really interact with beings outside of their species and has stolen much of the younger generations to utilize them as soldiers and weapons of war. Because of this, Aoife really hasn't had any interactions with Bigfoot folk before.
Bigfoot folk. Okay.
We learned that the Sasquatch are renowned womanizers.
Oh, I had no idea.
They are rumored to carry off human women in order to pleasure them endlessly, to the point where the women have like Stockholm syndrome and never return back to human civilization because they are just coming in the woods. Anyway, on page 4, Aoife is already ogling his hairy chest and bulging jeans. Curiosity piqued, she is thinking naughty thoughts about banging this dude on page 4. By page 6, she's already thrumming for him. Anybody who knows this podcast knows we love the word thrumming.
We do. Although I'm not used to seeing it by page 6.
Page 6. Page 6. She's just thrumming with herself and her own thoughts. The thrum is on.
Okay.
Aoife learns that our Sasquatch's name is Adam. And before they even have so much as a handshake, we find out that a posse of the Tuatha people are hot on her heels. Adam offers to hide her in his more remote cabin. And so she magically smoke/evaporate teleports them to his cabin because she's half banshee. Adam is afraid that his more horny brothers will smell her in the vicinity and try and take advantage of her. So he does what any self-respecting Yeti would do, and he offers to scent her.
Oh,
Like man musk her.
Dare I ask what that means?
Stank her all up so that she smells as though she already belongs to someone.
Oh, God. Okay.
She politely declines the odoriferous offer on page 9. But on page 10,
changes her mind?
He can smell her arousal at his offer, and he thinks to himself, quote, she could handle a good pounding. Then he takes her to his bedroom, and he leaves her there so she can nap. She wakes up refreshed, but sexually unsatisfied. So on page 16, she decides that she does want his smelly jelly on her.
Oh, my God. Oh, God, hold on. I gotta catch my breath.
I'll take a drink of my squanch.
Oh, my God, you're making me cry. Where do you find this stuff? Oh, God.
Oh, Nicole, you'll be happy to hear. He straight up tells Aoife he doesn't have any protection. He doesn't have any condoms.
Oh.
But it's all cool. Nicole, it's all cool because he tells her, it's okay, I'll just pull out. Because that's what I've done with, like, all my previous lady lovers. He's super romantic like that. And Aoife's like, no, man, it's totally cool. I will take your unwrapped dong. Because, again, she's part banshee. In case it hasn't been mentioned before. Apparently, she knows the exact moment in time when pregnancy can occur during her cycle because of the banshee-ness. And she's just not there right now. And not only that, she's immune to diseases of the hoo-ha because, half banshee. So go to town and squatch that crotch.
Oh my God, you're going to kill me. Okay.
The rest of this story revolves around taking down the evil priestess mother and the cruel elven prince because they were in cahoots trying to gain even more control over the Magic Kingdom. And that is the whole story. It is 97 fucking pages and it was a book. So we're moving on very quickly to I have thoughts.
Oh, I'm sure you fucking do.
So I don't know if you remember how I recently talked about how she's half-banshee.
Maybe once or twice.
Yeah, she knows for sure when she's ovulating, so it's cool to just go to town because she's not going to get pregnant. Well, somewhere on like page 80, whatever, if she's confronting the elven prince who's like, you have to marry me. And she's like, I don't, and I'm already carrying his young. And I'm like, first of all, you already said you couldn't get pregnant. So either you suck at being a banshee and you don't know what you're talking about, or you just are making shit up. I don't know. So whatever. She's apparently pregos with his young. And I also found it gross to just be saying, I'm carrying his young. I don't know why that just icked me out, but I was like, don't like it. The repetition. I don't get how the people editing your book don't say to you, hey, do you realize you have got the same sentences 3 times on this one page? This was not as bad as some of the other books that we've read, but it was enough where it bothered me. For example, page 10, page 11, maybe something was wrong with him. There was something wrong with him. Maybe something was wrong with him. 3 times. And I'm like, There was also staying with this woman until she died. Then there was if she died, he died, followed by when the woman died, they died. And then if she died, he would die. And I'm like, didn't need that 4 times within a couple pages. And then again, she's half banshee. So it really, there were a few things that could have been edited out. I have thoughts about some of the language used. Speaking of things that ick us out. Now, when you and I were recently at our romance weekend in Milwaukee,
Yes.
one of the things that we attend, I think it was the one we attended together, that they were talking about different words that people use and how for some people certain words just gross them out, whereas for other people it's perfectly acceptable.
Right.
And I think that's probably the case in this book, where these words just bother me and probably don't bother anybody else. But within a 2-page section, I was like, oh, these 4 things all gross me out. So let's start with fill her with his seed. Don't like that. Milking him. Don't like that. Shooting his load inside her. Definitely don't like that. And finally, the one that was the ringer here. All he could think about was being deep in her wet, see you next Tuesday. I was like, I can't believe, girl, see you next Tuesday. See you.
Oh,
I was
the number one word that I effing hate?
Yeah. So I was like, wow, that is real out there. The only time I've ever heard that word where it was appropriate and felt like something I was appreciating was in an Ani DeFranco song. So I don't find it sexy.
Nope.
So much as perhaps political. So that was a little rough for me, was a little bit of the language. And then let's move on to what really, really bothered me, which was there felt like there were parts of this book where the author probably had been exposed to certain ideas that really inspired her. And then she incorporated them into this book. But for whatever reason, to me, it just felt flat out like, I don't know, borrowing too heavily. So I don't know if you remember in Pretty Woman, where her whole thing is that she doesn't want to kiss because kissing represents love. That was in this book, and it just felt like a very Pretty Woman moment. And then this particular Sasquatch is the eldest of 7 brothers.
Oh, and they steal bride.
You see where I'm going here?
I do. 7 brides for 7 brothers.
Correct. And it wasn't even a subtle thing, because the brothers' names are Adam, Benjamin, Caleb, Daniel, Ethan, not Ephraim, Frank, and Gideon. So it's literally all the same names. And all I could think of was, did this person change Ephraim to Ethan because it's a more common name? Or did they just think that was what the name was because that's what it sounds like? And to me, I feel like that's it. It's a memory of a movie they saw or a play they saw, and they just took all the names and they thought it was Ethan when it's Ephraim. So that was When I got to that part in the book, I'm like, oh boy. And then going back to me talking about how the Sasquatch take women into the woods and the women never leave, I'm like, that's just 7 brides for 7 brothers. That's the story of 7 brides for 7 brothers, right? So yeah, the names are wrong. It's the carrying women off and the Stockholm syndrome. And then in the very beginning of this book, people always put their little, this is a work of fiction, any resemblance to actual facts or persons, entirely coincidental. Fine, but you can't say names, characters, places, and incidents either are products of the author's imagination or are used factitiously, not fictitiously, factitiously, which is a word, but it doesn't mean what it means in this paragraph. These are not products of the author's imagination. Those names were all completely lifted from 7 brides from 7 brothers. Whatever.
Wait. Is she trying to say that 7 brides for 7 brothers, she's trying to make that into like a real life thing? Or
I don't know. I don't even know that was it. It's one of those things where you're like, did this person think she dreamed these names and doesn't remember she saw this movie when she was 8? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. But it was definitely like, this is basically Sasquatch 7 brides for 7 brothers with big dongs and see you next Tuesday. Is basically what it is. And there will be more because they've already teased the fact that there is a sequel coming out. So I think she's going to go through all the brothers.
No, please no. Please no.
In a lot of ways, this reminded me of when I read Merry Christmas. Significantly less repetition. I will give it that.
Okay.
Merry Christmas was difficult for me to get through. I actually made like an entire chart of all the repetition. This just had a few things where I was like, if somebody had just tweaked it a little bit, that would have been helpful. I think the concept was a solid concept. The world she was trying to make was solid. I just felt like it could have used some shoring up. I don't feel like 97 pages is enough to establish believable character relationships and proper world building, if that makes sense. I just feel like this book could have been 3 times as long and it probably would have helped the storyline. That being said, if a good book is supposed to make you think, then it's a good book because it didn't make me revisit my love of 7 brides for 7 brothers.
Honestly, I know it's probably cancel culture at this point.
Correct.
It has been one of my favorites for a long time.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it gave me a lot to think about because, like you were saying, cancel culture. I was thinking about all the things that happened in that play. It's clearly problematic. You wouldn't be able to write that in that way today.
I will say, though, Megan, back when I was doing Jerry Award reviews for Wisconsin high schools, Madison High School did it. It still overall, as a theme and story, is problematic. But I will say it wasn't quite as challenging as the original musical.
I'm okay with this one and its ridiculousness because it is so over the top ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, it's a bunch of dudes doing ballet in a barn talking about...
Which is like, I love the choreo.
Right. The Sabine women from the Bible and like making it into their own Stockholm syndrome, right?
What I really loved was the matching Rainbow Oracle shirts.
It was great. It was great. And I've got them all ranked by hotness.
Yeah, Ephraim, hello.
Oh, girl, Benjamin, all the way.
Oh, Benjamin.
Oh, yeah. All I'm saying is it made me revisit that this week and think about, even though the theme was problematic, it is still one of my favorite musicals. And that movie gave me one of my first couple crushes ever. So to me, there was nothing more beautiful than Benjamin Pontypridd and Dorcas Galen. That couple, I was in love with them. And P.S., for anybody who hasn't watched that movie in forever, Dorcas Galen is Julie Newmar. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Friggin' hot. So that, I wanted to be them. I wanted to be with them. They were just like, ugh. So
I wanted to wear the cute little quilted, full-on 1800s skirt and dance around and sing June Bride.
Yes. Yeah. I love it. So I will say, even though this book was not really for me, the concept was creative and it got me thinking, and it is what it is.
Will you be reading the next installment?
I will not be reading the next installment, even though it is Benjamin who is the hottest, in my opinion. But I think there was enough squatch crotching for me in this particular book, and I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would you give it on a spiciness level? And Megan, let's throw in ghost pepper for funsies for this month. I know we
Mm.
didn't do it on last episode, but a ghost pepper would fall between a habanero and a Carolina Reaper.
Oh boy. I was giving this one a habanero just based on the gross language, because that to me raises the bar. I don't know if I would give it as much as a ghost pepper, because I feel like, again, it's only 97 pages, so everything was very quick. It's not like we had long, drawn out, sexy scenes. So I'm gonna stick with the habanero. Didn't quite reach the ghost pepper and didn't get to the reaper for sure.
Okay.
So what do we got on your end, my girl?
Well, in the realm of men in flannel, I have How to Help a Hungry Werewolf by Charlotte Stein. And this is my first time reading from her. This one isn't quite as fresh as yours. It was published in 2024. So, that's old news at this point.
Oh, sure.
It's in the genre of paranormal romance, romantic comedy, and contemporary romance. My hot take, which you always say is not so hot.
I always feel like a hot take's supposed to be something way out there. And your hot takes are like, here's the premise. And I'm like, no. Give me something off the wall.
Okay, my hot take. Friends to enemies to friends to lovers with witches, werewolves, and talking raccoons. Oh my!
You practiced that, didn't you?
I did not.
Ooh, impressive.
Okay, so our main characters are Cassandra Cassie Camberwell, a curvy young woman in her late 20s, and Seth Brubaker, once her childhood best friend. He became her sworn enemy in high school after he started hanging out with some shitty dudes and pulled a nasty prank on her during the high school talent show. The plotline. Cassie's grandmother has recently passed, leaving her granddaughter her house. Cassie is trying to sort through the clutter and deep clean as her parents expect her to sell the house. And as she's going through the home, she notices some odd and sometimes even creepy things. Basically, haunted house-esque type things, but she tries to chalk it up to her own paranoia, etc., and is like, oh, my grandmother just kept some weird shit, And she thinks back during this house cleaning and purging to time spent with her grandmother, as well as reflects on her old friendship with Seth. And then one night she catches Seth having broken into her grandma's house. He's searching for something in the basement, more specifically, a potion her grams used to make for him. Turns out Seth is a werewolf, and Cassie's G-Ma was helping him combat his transformations. And that's when Cassie starts to realize her and her grandmother actually used to make potions together. She thought they were making soup, but really, they were making potions. Who knew?
That's cool.
And her grandmother wrote down tons of journals and recipes of what they would concoct together. But Grandma was only a half witch of sorts, whereas Cassie is the real witch. And suddenly her world starts to change with this realization and knowledge. Initially, she has trouble trusting Seth again because of what happened in high school. Here's the deal. During the senior talent show where she was going to decorate a giant cake with this special icing that Grandma helped her make that would turn colors as she decorated it, Seth and the douchebags he was hanging out with sabotaged her cake so that it went everywhere and all over her. And then Seth calls her a fat ass over the microphone from backstage.
Oh, boy. Oh, no.
Yeah. So their friendship was already on the decline at that point, and it basically made them enemies. But prior to that, they had been long time, all throughout childhood besties. He doesn't hang out with those guys anymore, and he seems genuinely remorseful for what happened. And he offers to help her learn about the magical world and what she's capable of as a witch if she will make him the potions to help him with his werewolf problems. And Megan, I will stop there in terms of the plot because I don't want to give away any key spoilers, but I have lots to say.
It sounds really fun, actually. I mean, I'm a little disturbed by his high school antics, and I hope that it's one of those where there was like a miscommunication type of thing and things can be explained away. Oh, no. Oh, he really said that.
I'm not giving anything away, Megan.
Okay, I'm just hopeful because this sounds like a fun book and it sounds like something I would enjoy reading.
Things I loved about this book. First of all, I love the werewolf and witch elements. I've always been Team Jacob. Fuck the glittery vampires. I don't need them.
I don't know anything about those shows.
I know. Other people do, though, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure other people are like, yay!
Yeah. So me, Team Jacob, and I love the forbidden werewolf romances and things like Underworld, which you probably also don't know.
Actually, I do know Underworld. I've seen that because it's Kate Beckinsale, and she also is on my beautiful women who I would like to cuddle with list.
Mm-hmm. So I love the forbidden werewolf romances in Underworld, and I love a good werewolf romp, and this did not disappoint. I also love witchy vibes and magic, so this was a great double header for me for my second creature feature, if you will. And I want to share with you the symptoms of being a witch, according to the book.
There's symptoms?
Yes, that I found fabulous and hilarious. Quote, excessive night sweats, urge to wear hats, massively increased. Chances of cats adopting you very high. People stop liking you. People like you to a disturbing degree. You may only want to eat potatoes.
Did you start making a list of me? Is that what you're doing here?
Also, you could just go ahead and call me a witch then. Potatoes, night sweats, hats. I'm here for it.
Like, I'm sitting here right now in my hat with the cats who have adopted me, thinking about how freaking warm I am in this stupid sweatshirt right now. So, okay, yeah, let's do this. Let's witch together.
Yes. I also loved some of the wild, crazy shit that comes into Cassie's world as she embraces her life as a witch. For instance, she has a sentient microwave, which is just so...
Can it taste the food? Can it taste the food? Please tell me it can taste the food.
It doesn't discuss that, but at one point, Seth and Cassie are like deep cleaning the kitchen, and the microwave displays on its little digital thing, put your arm in me one more time and I will hurt you.
I'm sorry, if I were a sentient microwave, I would just be flipping myself open and demanding certain foods be put inside me. Like, put that in my mouth right now.
I know it's weird, but I was like, I am loving this sentient microwave.
Dude, I'd come back as a sentient microwave. I just don't want to be like the sentient microwave that's in a break room at some sort of horrible office.
With burnt popcorn? No fucking
Yeah, no, I want to
you.
be well taken care of. I need somebody who's making like taco dip and, good things.
Yeah. I was here for it. I was all about the sentient microwave. And then, instead of a cat, her familiar ends up being this absolutely adorable freaking talking raccoon.
Oh, I like that.
Tiny little hands. I loved it. I loved it. It was very enjoyable. And finally, I loved the spice level. This was a slow burn, but man, once I got to the heat, it was on fire. I put it at a habanero. There was lots of delicious open door moments, and I appreciated every single one of them. It was healthy, it was consensual, it was a delight and a treat. Challenges. As mentioned, this was a slow burn, and in conjunction with that, the pacing of the first half of the book was really slow for me. Megan, I was honestly really struggling.
I was just say, I remember you telling me that you were on the struggle bus with this one.
Yeah, I was really struggling getting through it. And I'm just being honest here. And that could be a me problem because I've got a very busy time in my life right now. But I eventually decided to give Audible, which I've never done before. And I gave it a whirl. And it actually worked out great for me. I was able to get a consistent pace going at 1.2 times the normal pace.
Sure.
And I got it going with the story, and then I eventually picked up the book again and started reading along with the audio. Oh. I found listening to Audible especially helpful during my commutes for work and while getting other things done around the house. I don't know that I'll do it again in the future, but it worked particularly in this instance. That being said, I had a little trouble. It was just one female voice doing the audio. And I don't know that I loved how she was reading Seth's voice.
I will say, we've got coming up in the future our what are we calling it? Our pick a book, our pick from a hat, whatever.
Pick a number,
Pick
yeah.
a number book. We've got that coming up in the new year. I've got one book in there that I think will be a challenge from the perspective of it being very long, very large, and I'm really hoping that when that number gets picked, it's a time where I have some moments to actually spend with it. But maybe I'll give that a try, doing something like an Audible along with the book, because this should be one that I can find. So
Yeah.
anyway, that just sounds like a unique solution to a time and focus problem.
I think what was bogging me down in this particular situation is that we as readers get very immersed in Cassie's inner monologue, and she often repeats a lot of her thoughts. So she'll say in one breath or thought process, he's fucking hot. And then she'll say it again, he's so fucking hot. And then she'll say it again, just so hot. And there's a lot of that. And I know we were just talking about with your book repetition over the course of a short span of time, over the course of pages. This seems very deliberate to me in the way it's written, but it is also still repetitive.
Kind of how her personality was. This is her thought process. I get that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I get it too. And I don't think it's wrong, but it slowed me down in reading it. And also, Megan, I always get ridiculously invested in characters I read about.
You also have a hard time with slow burn. Just in general, you are not a slow burn girl. I love the slow burn. I love that anticipation. That is so not your thing. So anytime I think a book sounds great and you're like, but it was a slow burn, I'm like, oh yeah, bring it. I feel like I'm going to really like that.
I agree with you. But I think that the combination of Cassie's inner monologue and the repetition and my investment in characters and wanting to fully absorb the characters and just where I was at in life at the time I was trying to read through this book was just really slowing my reading pace. But beyond that, I have no complaints. It was very well written, great plot line, a lot of great twists and turns. My final thoughts, if you love a good witch and werewolf contemporary rom-com with enemies to lovers and slow burn that builds to a sizzling intense heat with lots of juicy deets, this is a great option.
Well, it sounds like we had some colorful reads this week.
We did. I have to know, Megan, booby prize. Based on the shortness of your book, where did the boobies hit at?
Page 8. Yeah, I was page 8, which I'm actually surprised it wasn't earlier. Page 8, it is arousal unfurled in the pit of her belly, her nipples hardening as she instantly thought of him spreading her legs and burying his face in her pussy, licking her up and down. I did tell you that the language in this book was a little much for me, right?
You did.
I did.
You also know I don't like the meow word.
Yeah, well, used a lot in this book. Page 8. What do you got? I feel like I won this one.
Oh, you 100% did. This, again, was a slow burn. So I did not hit the boobies until page 71. Quote, she was fully dressed, and even if she hadn't been, he clearly didn't care about whatever her boobs looked like.
I love that. I love that. Sounds more like my speed for a book.
Yeah. I think you would have enjoyed this one. Although, with the open bedroom scenes, they are pretty intense.
I was going to say that's the parts that you loved are probably the parts where I'd be like, meh, and I would just skip past them pretty fast.
You'd be like, first half of the book, all Megan. Second half of the book, on to you, Nicole.
Yeah. Hand it off. It's a relay race. We would win the Romance Olympics. I think so.
Romance Olympics. Maybe we have to start doing that for next year.
We'd have to know in advance that those are the kinds of books, so that's the problem.
Ugh, yeah, I don't know.
All right, well, how about a romantic reminder?
Yes. Sometimes, Megan, we see a lot of repeated tropes and whatever, and actually we're considering doing away with the romantic reminder for next year because we just seem to think it's kind of hitting a wall for us.
Unless there's something that really sticks out, like a special thing we want to highlight. Yeah, right. I feel like we're starting to be like, communicate, be nice, do things for each other.
And by the way, communicate.
Did we say communicate?
You should communicate. No, my romantic reminder from How to Help a Hungry Werewolf is actually a new and fresh reminder. Create a special snuggle up or cuddle up spot. When Cassie and Seth were teens, they had a couple of great little places where they would watch movies or just talk about life or whatever was on their minds. One was in a hollowed out tree out in the woods, and the other was, interestingly enough, in her closet. But they'd snuggle up under a blanket or whatever and just hang out and be comfy and cozy, watch movies, what have you. And while it wasn't necessarily something that was romantic for them at the time, it did create a really beautiful sense of intimacy in their friendship. And I think that overall is great for any relationship.
I agree. If you had said, Megan, put together a cuddle closet for you and Benjamin Pontopee and Dorcas Galen, I would say, okay, let's do that.
I mean, we have a friend, Adam, who makes adult tree, not tree forts, but adult.
Yeah. He and I had a sleepover in like the best fort in his living room. We put together a fort and we watched like Mystery Science Theater and just fell asleep on sleeping bags in the pillow fort.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I really think friends, lovers, what have you, creating a special snuggle cuddle spot is a great intimacy thing. It
It's
doesn't have to be
cozy.
sexual.
No, not
It
at all.
just is fun.
Yeah, I like that coziness, and you're right. It's a different kind of intimacy, and it's a trusting and very comforting place. I love that.
Yeah. What do you have for a romantic reminder from the Sasquatch?
Yeah, let him put his scent on you. Now, I say that in jest, but hear me out. If your man has some sort of cologne that makes you think of him,
I get it.
right? Go ahead and utilize that. Maybe spray it on a pillow or a favorite sweatshirt. And that can be very comforting. So I do say that in jest because it's freaking hilarious to let him put his man musk all over you, but that can be romantic if done correctly.
Also get it. Bob has been gone in Canada for 2 weeks and he'll still be gone for another week. And obviously I've done the laundry for the bedroom linens in that time. But when I first got home, from being up in Wisconsin, and he was still gone in Canada, I was snuggling up with his pillow. So
My
I get
husband
it.
has a very specific kind of cologne smell. He actually makes it himself.
Ooh, I'm intrigued.
He's very creative. So he has for years done different kinds of practicing with scents and herbs and whatever. And he has a very specific kind of smell. And so I think it's lovely. And so I would let him scent me.
Spritz. Any foods in this one, Megan, for you?
Boy, you know what? I do not remember there being foods in this book. I'm sure there probably were, but I was distracted by so many other things that I did not write a single food down.
Yeah.
So we'll just pretend that no, there weren't. And if there were, someone else who reads this book can prove me wrong. How about you?
Lots of soup making as part of the potion making. Then there's this really cool moment where Seth brings a shit ton of takeout breakfast back to her Gammy's house. Everything from like blueberry compote pancakes to lots of omelets. And he just lays it all out in the kitchen on the breakfast table. And he's like, whatever you want, whatever you choose to do. And what I really loved and appreciated, and I think you might appreciate this too, is she specifically mentions that the hash browns are extra crispy.
Dude, the hash browns and the bacon, that better be flippin' crispy. I do not want soggy bacon and mushy hash browns.
No,
Gross.
I need crispy hash browns, people.
Yep. Same with fries. Fries shouldn't be soggy and weird.
No.
I don't want floppy fries.
No one wants a floppy
fries out of here. All right. Well, that was, like I said, that was going to be a ride, and it was. And we came out on the other end.
We survived it. So, Megan, what do you have coming up for our third episode of the Creature Feature Month?
Yeah, third episode. Nicole, I'm a little worried. We've just come on the heels of my Sasquatch romance, and I bought both of these books at the same time, the Sasquatch and then the upcoming one. You and I have had the discussion that we're in the month of the monsters, and so many monsters are overdone. We've got a lot of werewolves and witches and vampires. I'm like, I'm going to do something different. Heaven help me. That's why I started with the Mothman. Loved it. Moved on to Sasquatch. Ooh, creative, but not the book for me. Unfortunately, this one is from the same series, so I'm a little bit worried.
When you say same series, same author or different author?
Different author, same publisher, and they're all under this same mated to the monster overarching theme. So this one's 122 pages versus the 97 in my last book. So there's a little bit more room for some character development. I'm not hopeful. So if this surprises me, I would love that. Here we go. Mated to the Swamp Monster by Honey Phillips. Every child in Cypress Landing has been warned about the terrifying monster lurking in the inky tangle of cypress and willow at the edge of town. But sometimes desperation leaves no other choice. When Rory sees her vicious stepfather commit a horrifying crime, her only hope of escape lies through the forbidden swamp. Hurt and exhausted by her headlong flight, she is terrified when she sees a huge, mysterious figure lurking behind the wraith-like tendrils of Spanish moss. Yet, despite his intimidating appearance, something in his eyes gives her the courage to beg for help. And even though he carries her deeper into the swamp, she feels unexpectedly safe in his massive arms. Marsh has been alone for as long as he can remember, but the swamp is his home and has long since made peace with his loneliness until a beautiful, injured woman pleads for sanctuary. As he nurses her back to health, he is enchanted by her innocent smile and tentative touches. She brings a joy to his existence that he has never known, and he will do anything for her, anything except let her go. So, Nicole, what is your next book coming up?
Buckle up, Betsy.
Woof.
We have Morning Glory Milking Farm.
Boy.
This was passed on to me by a friend who shall remain nameless, strictly out of their own personal embarrassment.
Can I quick interrupt with, I had actually heard of this book from another mutual friend who knew it existed, and they threatened to give it to me, and somehow it ended up in your lap, which I think is way funnier. So
Yes.
I'm glad you got this one.
And this friend who shall remain nameless, he was given this book. You know the friend.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These are mutual friends of both of ours. And so this was threatened to come to me. When I heard it was in your hands, I was like, hallelujah.
He was given this book as a Christmas present, I believe, out of spite from supposed friends who we also know.
Yeah,
I would like to point out that this embarrassed him so much. They put a little nameplate sticker here, and he ripped it out before giving it to me.
Come on. And I know your name, and I almost said it. Come on, so-and-so.
Oh. Well, I took one for the friend team, and I read it, Megan, in less than 24 hours already.
Don't tell me he and his wife didn't sit and read this together. Come on, you guys.
I don't think they did, because his wife kept telling me all the things she had heard about this book,
but didn't read it.
Let me tell you the synopsis.
Here we go.
Violet, which I do like the name Violet, is a typical down-on-her-luck millennial, mid-20s, overeducated and drowning in debt, on the verge of moving into her parents' basement when a lifeline appears in the form of a very unconventional job in neighboring Cambric Creek. She has no choice but to grab at it with both hands.
Stop it!
Morning Glory Farm offers full-time hours, full benefits, and generous pay with no experience needed. There's only one catch. The clientele is grade A certified prime beef with the manly, meaty endowments to match. Hands-on work with minotaurs isn't something Violet ever considered as a career option, but she's determined to turn the opportunity into a reversal of fortune. When a stern, deep-voiced client begins to specially request her for his sessions at the farm, Maintaining her professionalism and keeping him out of her dreams is easier said than done. Violet is resolved to make a dent in her student loans and afford name brand orange juice. And a one-sided crush on an out-of-her-league minotaur is not a part of her plan, unless her feelings aren't so one-sided after all.
So this is the sexy kingpin version of stripping for college money.
I put it in a little more of a laboratory setting than that, but
just saying.
It's basically like working at a fucking sperm bank or like a cow sperm thing.
There's more than that. This is Kingpin the movie. Just saying. Oh boy.
Yeah. As you can see, it's not a girthy read, though the minotaurs are girthy.
Girthier than this.
Oh, yes, for sure. Sasquatches ain't got nothing on minotaurs, apparently.
Well, I mean, they got some things, but...
some musk. No thanks.
Yeah, they got oil.
I just am imagining like a very Jim Beatty, like bear mammalian. No thanks. I don't need that on me. Well, Megan, that's all I can handle for this evening. I'm out of a cocktail and I got no more laughs or tears in me.
All right, well, this has been fun, I think.
It's been something.
It has been something. Thank you guys for joining us today on Romance on the Rocks. As always, please like, subscribe, and follow. And if you are a hopelessly romantic, bookish biddy like we are, think about giving us a review on Apple iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you catch your podcasts. Until next time, just know that your support really means the world to us. Stay safe and know that you are loved.